And that brings me to talk on maintenance. I think we need to give maintenance talk a lot more airtime. Nobody really starts talking about maintenance. They talk about how you lose weight and how it's easy to gain weight when the method you employ for said weight loss is extreme, unenjoyable, unsustainable. So let's talk about maintenance. When my coach told me I would be a year in, I was like, that's awful. But deep down, I knew that's what I needed to do, because I had never worked on just maintaining my weight ever. I was either losing or gaining the same 10, 15, 20, 30 plus pounds, despite doing a lot of exercise, a lot of restricting. There's a lot of binging, because again, the methods I used were unsustainable and unenjoyable. So let's talk about maintenance. And I know how much of a mind game maintenance can be if you're like me, similar to me, where you know you're going to see the weight scale go up. Probably going to see the metrics go up a little bit, because again, your goal that you hit in your cut, that's not going to be, you were in a deficit. You were eating less than your body needs to survive. So metrics and the scale will go up. Let's clear that misconception up. I think people think after they hit, let's say, their first weight loss goal, they think they'll be able to maintain that new weight loss goal, stay at that number like set, black and white, it'll always be. So for me, my first weight loss goal was 145. And initially I'd expected to stay at 145. But no, when you go to maintenance, you're eating more, you're loosening up your habits, you're well fed and fueled, so you're lifting heavy in the gym, getting stronger, you're getting stronger, which is directly related. So that was my number one tip. Set a realistic expectation. Flip that mindset switch. If you're getting stronger and you're lifting heavier progressively in the gym week by week, you're gonna gain muscle. And the muscle is gonna bump up the scale a little bit. Maybe bump up the metrics a little bit. Cement that in our head. I know it's hard, but if you can persevere and push on despite what those numbers tell you, because you know you're doing all the things you need to do in maintenance to keep your body thriving and progressing, then you need to really work on letting go of that mindset mess that happens with seeing the scale and metrics move up. Second mindset tip. So Leanne, I get clients asking me, well, what can I expect then? If you're telling me I know the weight's gonna go up, what can I expect? Every body, B-O-D-Y, is so different, gang. But I like to use a rule of thumb, like 8 to 10 pounds. You know, again, realistic expectations. If we start with that bar and we have a range and a flexible window to work through to navigate stress, sleep patterns, hormonal stuff, high sodium foods, social meals out, all these things that contribute to that scale number and those metrics, right? Bumping it up because we ate a high sodium meal, all those things, we have a range, 8 to 10 pounds as maintenance. That gives us some perspective, a frame of mind. And I know what you're gonna say, especially if you're in a cut right now, maybe your first weight loss goal, you know that eventually you need to go in maintenance. Maybe you just started maintenance, so the scale weight is not really bumped up yet, or it's just a couple of pounds. I can't go in maintenance because I cannot fathom gaining 8 to 10 pounds. You know, that will devastate you, that'll freak you out, that will send you into a tailspin. So that's where the mindset piece comes in, gang. And I think that's what a lot of trainers lack out there, is they don't work on that mindset piece, which is something I do a lot with my ladies, because it all is in here, right? I always say we have to remember that thoughts and feelings are not the facts. And we have to learn how we can separate all that intense, deep emotion and you know, stuff we have with the scale. So if you're struggling with that, right? I can't. I mean, that was me too. If Janelle had told me to expect an 8 to 10 pound weight gain, I would be like, no way, bye. And I may have left the program. Who knows, right? But again, we have to start looking at what does that 8 to 10 pounds number mean, right? If you're progressively overloading, lifting, your body recomposition is happening, you're changing the shape of your body, that 8 to 10 pounds gang on the scale, right? If you're benching 50 pounds heavier, squatting 60 pounds heavier, if you're doing unbroken push-ups, some unbroken pull-ups, but the scale reads 8 to 10 pounds, really? Like, we need to look at what we can do and not weigh our performance on that number. And one more thing, if you're in maintenance, you have to really check in with yourself. And if the weight is staying steady, months and months, weeks and weeks, and the metrics are pretty much the same, or the scale is going down a little bit, the metrics are going down a little bit, you have to seriously analyze, are you sure you're in maintenance and perhaps still not acting from a deficit mindset? Sometimes skipping a meal here, shaving off some macros there, doing a little bit more cardio, or perhaps you're not intentionally progressively overloading in the gym. That's one common thing I see, where we're in maintenance but we're still in a deficit mindset, and thus some of our actions are still deficit actions. Hey guys, Leanne here, your online transformation coach and Honolulu personal trainer. And have you ever got to the point where walking is hard? Where some days you're like, oh, I can't run, but I can walk. And then some days it's like, walking feels hard. Wow. Yes, I feel you. I got my third cut last week, I think Wednesday or Thursday. And yesterday was my low day. And again, I understand it's all relative, right? My low day to some people, I mean, could be their high days. But, you know, I've gotten my body so accustomed to being in maintenance that it's been a real change in acclimating to these new lower macros in terms of hunger